right, we're live.
Nice.
Tripping up the wires. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I moved because I don't want my phone in the sun because I'm afraid it'll get mad. So I moved it to the shade.
Yeah, it's like sunny here too, but it's really strange. Look at it. It's got like there's like this real weird white haze that's underneath all of it. Like, look, here's normal blue sky, sort of normal,
This
and
is
then there's like
your air quality.
yeah, look at all this haze, and then
It's
like
weird
there's
looking.
big fat
Fires nearby.
clouds. But yeah, it's really hazy.
Wow.
So, okay, I'm going to bring up the chat on Father's phone. Let me see here.
Okay.
And then, where is it? There we go. All right. So, hello, Deity. Hi, Catherine KNS Variety Shops. Hello, Blue Water Pines. Thank you for coming, folks. So, we'll give some time for people to come in. I actually just barely got dinner done, but I'm going to eat late. We're having cabbage rolls, leftover cabbage rolls again. They're so good.
Nice.
Hello, Mike Edward. Yeah, maybe so. Maybe it's just residue from all the fires. Who knows? Anyway, so do you want to start? Do you want me to start? How do you want to do this? Hi, Jan.
Hi, Dee Dee Paranormal. Hi, Catherine.
Jim. Hi, Jim. How are you?
Yeah, I was filming my sky gym, but and I'm like, no, it's too hot. But it's
Look
still,
at this,
it looks
Jim.
way more blue today.
This sky is insane. Okay, so it's like blue skies this way, but then it starts turning into like all this hazy stuff. And there's clouds,
Hi, Blue
but
Water
they're like on top of the hazy stuff.
Hi, Jamsa. Hi, Mike Edward. Hi, Jan. I think I said hi to everybody.
Awesome. So glad you guys are here. Okay, so if you have missed any of the previous material that we've covered, you can find all of it in our playlist called Dreams and Visions, which is loaded with information. And today we're going to be talking about visions mostly. So I forgot to bring out my books and I need to go back inside to get those. So Tam, if you want to get us started.
Okay, you want me to just start reading?
Sure, and I'll go grab my books and I'll be right back.
Okay, I was going to read, and then the one's too long, but they're dreams, visions, and prophecies from the Native American ancestors. And so I'm only going to read one because it's long, and I didn't really shorten it. Okay, so this is going to be the prophecy of, I don't hear B, the prophecy of Black Elk. But it talks a little bit about all of it, and then I'll go into the other ones, a different Dreamcast. Okay, so the indigenous cultures have remained deeply connected to the earth. The ancient ones were adept as cosmic mathematics. I cannot talk, so sorry. That would measure the movement and rhythms of our Earth cycles through time and space, and its efforts on human consciousness and evolution. What became fully aware of those custodians of this knowledge was that our place on earth and our personal behavior, thinking, and actions develop largely through resonance. I really can't talk, just not today. With an evolving cosmic consciousness meditated directly by the energy shifts on Earth. 2012 was only the end of 5125 years rotation. We are now moving into the 6th sun cycle. The biblical end of times is just a part of a period where we cycle from one sun to another, during which we
All right.
exact word I wrote there, which we usher in great changes. These changes have long been prophesied by the ancient ancestors. They believe that all natural phenomena are the animistic character, that each person or thing is in itself a manifestation of the divine. All things are thought individually to possess a spirit. All things are living consciousness containing divine or mysterious powers. In the lens of the indigenous air, fire, water, and earth, as well as the forces of nature, especially trees, rocks, the moon, sun, plants, and animals, are all objects for transcendence and influenced by the cycles of changes, and we along with it. Today's elders, with the dreams of the ancients, carry the message that human survival depends on how we take care of Mother Earth. For only by honoring her and protecting her can we survive these changing times. So it says, note, please remember these are dreams, and as such, they are open to interpretation. This middle section is a research report by Ira Kennedy. And then it goes on about the Black Elk prophecy. You're ready to listen to that kind of long. Let's see if I can read now. All right, so this is the Black Elk prophecy. When Black Elk was 9 years old, he had yet to see his first white man. There were still vast herds of buffalo and the Indian way of life. Black Elk believed would last forever. That year, 1872, he had a vision in which he traveled 4 ascents with his people, which he understood to be the 4 generations he would know. At the first ascent, the people camped in a circle. There in the center of this circle stood the holy tree. But when they camped at the second ascent, Black Elk saw the leaves. Okay, now I lost my spot. My kid's distracting me. Okay, at the first ascent, the people camped in a circle. There in the center of this circle stood the holy tree. But when they camped at the second ascent, Black Elk saw the leaves falling from the sacred tree. At the camp of the third ascent, he saw the black road of conflict before them. He saw, too, that the nation's hoop was broken. The sacred tree was dying, and all its birds were gone. There he saw that all of the animals and fowls that were the people ran here and there, for each one seemed to have his own rules. And all over the universe I could hear the winds at war like wild beasts fighting. It was dark and terrible about me, for all the winds of the world were fighting. It was like rapid gunfire and like whirling smoke and like women and children wailing and like horses screaming all over the world. The third ascent was the time of generation living in the 1850s. At the fourth ascent, a voice said, "Behold this day, for it is yours to make. Now you shall stand upon the center of the earth to see." Then Black Elk stood on the highest mountain of them all, and round about beneath me was the whole hoop of the world. And while I stood there, I saw more than I can tell, and I understand more than I saw. For I was seeing in a sacred manner the shapes of all things in spirit, and the shape of all shapes as they must live together like one being. As I
That's
saw...
sorry. I think I
And
had saw the same one that you're reading, though, the Black Elk.
yeah, and there goes a bunch of them, but I only had time to write down one. And I saw that the sacred hoop of my people was one of many hoops that made one circle, white as daylight and as starlight. And in the center grew one mighty flowering tree to shelter all the children of one mother and one father. And I saw that it was holy. Black Elk's vision of the fourth ascent was one of hope and brotherhood, because that world did not come to pass. Black Elk lived to be a disappointed man, believing that in some way he had failed his vision. You see me now, a pitiful old man who has done nothing, for the nation's hoop is broken and scattered. There is no center any longer, and the sacred tree is dead. Shortly before his death in 1950, Black Elk offered this comment: I've been told by the white men, or at least by those who are Christian, that God sent to men his son who would restore order and peace upon the earth. And we have been told that Jesus, the Christ, was crucified, but that he shall come again at the last judgment, the end of this world cycle. This I understand and know that it is true. But the white men should know that for the red people, too, it was the will of Waken Tonka, the Great Spirit, that an animal turn itself into a two-legged person in order to bring the most holy pipe to his people. And we too were taught that this white buffalo cow woman who brought our sacred pipe will appear again at the end of this world, a coming which we Indians know is now not very far off. Perhaps the words, behold this day, for it is yours to make, now you shall stand upon the center of the earth to see. For this day is ours to make and the center of the earth. Black Elk tells us is everywhere. All we need to do is see the world in a sacred manner, and the holy tree will live again. And that, all that. I'll have to do the other ones a different time, but
Okay. So I have one called the Anishinaabe Dreams. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. This is promoted by Navajo.
welcome,
Dream.
Edwin Beverly.
Hi,
Sorry.
Edwin. How are
And welcome,
you?
Anna Nicole. And welcome, Jenny and Matt.
Oh, hi, Anna Nicole. I'm just now seeing him. Maybe his is a little
I
bit
just see
hot.
him too. And Terrell. Hi, Terrell.
Yeah, it's Frel. Cool. Awesome, you guys. Glad you're here with us. Okay, so let me start with this again, too, by saying that if you've missed any of the previous material that we've covered, you can find it in our original playlist called Dreams and Visions. And we will be hosting this live event will be on the 21st of each month. So we'd like to gather you all up for that purpose. And we do have a challenge that we've issued previously, which is to come up with a journal, a dream journal, and start writing down your dreams. And then also to find your dream spirit guide animal. So if you don't know how to do that, you need to see our last Dreamcast, which you can find in the Dreams and Visions. And then we'd love for you to make a video of your journal and of your spirit animal, of how you found your spirit animal, and tell us the story about that. And as soon as you have that video ready, let us know. Our playlist is actually a collaborative playlist, so we want you all to make some Dreams and Visions videos to add to that playlist too, which will be really exciting. So, okay, so before I start reading this, I want to tell you about this dream that I remembered that I had today. And it was such a silly dream, but still interesting. So I dreamt that our neighbor who lives in our adjoining duplex, that she was at our house. And C and I had planned on making all these leftovers that we had last night for dinner because that was going to be easy. But for some reason, our neighbor had come over and she brought her little girls with her, and they had decided to cook up and eat all of the leftovers. And I found her in the kitchen cooking ground beef. And I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, well, I'm making you guys dinner because we ate all your dinner. And I'm like, oh no, because I was thinking I have to feed the family before I get started with this live stream. So anyways, silly dream, but nonetheless. that would have been like a small dream, not a giant prophetic dream, but just a simple small dream. Anyway, so back to what I was reading, which was the Anishinaabe dreams. And dreams and visions are an important part of Native American spiritual life. Traditionally, dreams were an essential conduit for communication with the supernatural world. Dreams served as a validation of one's spiritual condition. Therefore, from an early age, American Indian children learned to remember their dreams. These dreams could then be interpreted by the tribal elders. The Manituas revealed in the dreams would guide the dreamer to wisdom. While these Manituas are often called guardian spirits, they are more accurately described as tutelary spirits. According to the Anishinaabe or the Ojibwa spiritual teachings, human beings have two souls, one of which travels at night and lives the dreams. With two souls, human beings can communicate with both the spirits and the souls of non-human persons. From an Anishinaabe perspective, it is the soul that dreams the dreams, not the body or the mind. During the dream, the soul may travel all over the world. Throughout North America, people from various tribes would engage in vision quests to obtain spiritual power. The vision quest would often entail going to a remote spiritual location and remaining there while fasting. Among the Ojibwa, children would start fasting for visions at age 4 or 5. At first, they would go into the woods and spend a day without food or water while waiting for their visions. Later, they would spend 4 or more days at a time fasting and waiting for their visions to come to them. Both boys and girls would seek out these visions. For the first vision quest among Ojibwa children, the face and arms are blackened with ash, and then the child is taken to the place of visions. This is usually a location which is felt to be unnatural, a place formed by neither humans nor nature. On the occasion of the vision quest, the spirits would welcome human visitors to the place. After making an offering of tobacco and asking the spirits to bring a vision to the child, the parent leaves. For a number of days, the child waits alone, waiting for a vision. The vision often comes in the form of a particular animal who gives special instructions on how to live, teaches special songs, and shows how to use special medicines. This animal or guardian spirit becomes the person's personal Manitou. Often, the person then carries a representation of the spirit, which represents the essences of the spiritual power. Using this representation, an individual can call on the guardian spirit for assistance, guidance, and protection. And that is your spirit animal or dream animal guide. At the time of creation, all animals were given the gift of knowing the future. Thus, individuals could call upon their guardian spirits to help them understand the future. In the traditional Anishinaabe cultures, prior to European contact, this would most frequently involve knowing the location of game so that the hunt would be successful. At the time of creation, each animal was given a special gift. Thus, when the animal spirit comes to a human during a dream or vision quest, the animal may share this gift with the human. While there are a number of non-Indians today who have written about the nature of the special gifts to the animal spirits from a traditional perspective, knowledge of the animal's gifts come only from the animal spirit, never from a human being. At the time of creation, the plant people were given the gift of healing. In some instances, humans may be visited by one or more of the plant people in their dreams. These people often become healers. And that is from NativeAmericanRoots.net. So, did you have another thing that you wanted to read, Tam?
No, that's all I got. I have other stuff written down, but stuff I read before, but I couldn't find my paper on the other stuff. But now.
Okay, I have another one to go over too. Wait, let me see here. Okay, so this one is, I feel, really important, especially for those of us that are religious. So many of us know who Enoch is, and if you don't know who Enoch is, he is the great grandfather of Noah. So Enoch was very famous in the Bible for having a very huge vision. This would have been an official dream. So it was the first dream vision on the deluge. So it starts out saying, "And now, my son Methuselah, I will show thee all my visions which I have seen, recounting them before thee. 2 visions I saw before I took a wife, and the one was quite unlike the other. The first when I was learning to write, the second before I took thy mother. When I saw a terrible vision and regarded them, I prayed to the Lord. I had laid me down in the house of my grandfather Mahalalel, when I saw in a vision how the heaven collapsed and was borne off and fell to the earth. And when it fell to the earth, I saw how the earth was swallowed up in a great abyss, and mountains were suspended on mountains, and hills sank down on hills, and high trees were rent from their stems, and hurled down and sunk in the abyss. And thereupon a word fell into my mouth, and I lifted up my voice to cry aloud and said, The earth is destroyed. And my grandfather Mahalalel walked me, and I lay near him, and said unto me, Why dost thou cry so, my son? And why dost thou make such lamentation? And I recounted to him the whole vision which I had seen. And he said unto me, A terrible thing hast thou seen, my son, and of grave moment is the dream vision as to the secrets of all the sin of the earth. It must sink into the abyss and be destroyed with a great destruction. And now, my son, arise and make a petition to the Lord of glory, since thou art a believer, that a remnant may remain on the earth, and that he may not destroy the whole earth. My son, from heaven, all this will come upon the earth, and upon the earth there will be a great destruction. After that I arose and prayed and implored and besought and wrote down my prayers for the generations of the world. I will show everything to thee, my son Methuselah. And when I had gone forth below and seen the heaven, and the sun rising in the east, and the moon setting in the west, and a few stars, and the whole earth, and everything as he had known it in the beginning, then I blessed the Lord of judgment, and extolled him, because he had made the sun to go forth from the windows of the east. And he ascended and rose on the face of the heaven, and set out and kept traversing the path shown to him. So Enoch was a very great dreamer. He lifted up his hands in righteousness and blessed the Holy and Great One, and spake with the breath of my mouth and with the tongue of the flesh which God had made for the children of the flesh of men, and they should speak therewithin. And he gave them breath and a tongue and a mouth that they should speak therewith. Blessed be thou, O Lord King, great and mighty in thy greatness, Lord of the whole creation of heaven, King of kings and God of the whole world. And thy power and kingship and greatness abide forever and ever. And throughout all generations thy dominion, and all the heavens are thy throne forever, and the whole earth thy footstool forever and ever. For thou hast made, and thou rule all things, and nothing is too hard for thee. So this is a big account of Enoch having a great vision where he was taken on high, and he was shown by angels, or at least someone from above, took him on high and showed him how everything worked. They showed him the sun, they showed him the moon, and they showed him the stars, and they showed him exactly how it all works together. So he learned of it all. He saw all of it. Now that is a very great vision.
Very nice. Your sky looks crazy, Fairy.
It really does, doesn't it? It's turning into some
big system.
Yeah. It's really, really interesting.
It very is.
So, okay. So we're kind of curious, have you guys had any great visions out there? What do you see in your dreams? Do you see prophetic dreams? Or do you just have little dreams, like your neighbor is cooking up the beef?
Dee Dee said he dreams about tacos.
Dreaming about tacos? That's funny.
When I didn't have any clouds, I kept dreaming about clouds. I had 2 dreams that the clouds were coming, that I was waking up and I was going to go look out and there'd be clouds. That's how much I wanted clouds. And then they came back finally.
You were dreaming of the clouds. Let's see. I'm looking for. I have one more that I had to work with to read to you guys. Yes, dear. Yeah, you can eat. Okay, so there's also the dream walkers too, which is through vision quest, through fasting, through the guidance influence of an experienced shaman. It is always a dramatic experience, an ecstatic and did didactic, totally out of the ordinary experience. The initiation is a teaching learning time. It is an introduction to the shamanic way. A shamanic initiation involves learning through visions, voices, dreams, out of body experiences, illnesses, and death, dismemberment experience, reconstruction, renewal, or rebirth follows the death. It is a highly complex education in ways of wisdom that exist beyond usual learning techniques. This is not to say that much of the shaman's learning does not take place in more traditional ways. The shaman teacher shares personal wisdom of experience through teaching or through direct transmission, but it is the experience of ecstasy that creates the radical changes in the chosen person. A death experience created just such a radical change in me. It began at a shamanic meeting I attended. I had undergone significant changes and alterations in my own physical body and my psyche over the previous several months. Many of these changes were difficult and painful, including a lupus flare. One of the purposes I had in attending this particular meeting was to rebuild and renew my emotional self through a drumming journey. The sound patterns of the drums were a familiar path to other realities and solutions. On my first journey of the night, I found my body confined on all sides by the feel and smell of the earth. I was buried. It was confining but not uncomfortable. I just lay there, aware but dead. I discussed the experience with the shaman leader of the drumming. He said it reflected the psychic death and I was feeling. The suggestion was to ask my power animal to assist with the death, destruction, and reconstruction of my body and spirit. When the drums began again, I went down a taproot to a cavern deep within the earth. My hawk and tiger were nearby. We walked to a narrow cavity in the cave where they stopped. I continued a bit further and met a great gray wolf. Our eyes met in mutual agreement. He leaped and tore at my throat. I could feel the blood and tissue being torn away. There were the sensations of death and dying, but no fear. One last scream pierced the silence. Other power animals came to assist. They completely devoured my body while my spirit observed. Then they regurgitated and defecated my remains, which they mixed with the blood and earth on the cave floor. The mixture slowly became a recognizable form again. My physical body was being reconstructed. When it was ready, my spirit once again merged with it, and then was whole. The wholeness was real. I had undergone a cellular change. At that moment, my spirit and body remerged. I could once again hear the beat of the drums. I returned from the journey with a renewed mission and an enhanced sense of being part of the earth. The earth is my mother. Today we can learn much from written information that was not available until recently. Still, shamanic power must be gained through direct experience. So I thought that was an interesting vision too. There's a lot on that too. This is from Dawn Eagle, DawnEagle.com. Very, very interesting. Wow, my sky is amazing. I don't even know what's going on. Are you there, Tam? Are you there, Tam?
Oh, I'm here. I just had to give the kid crowns.
Yeah, there's so much on this. So many things. So, okay. So, first of all, the one thing that you all have to learn to do is to start recalling your dreams. So, if you can remember your dreams, that's great. If you can't remember your dreams, then you need to start working on dream recall. First thing that I would suggest is to do a detox of your system so that you can get back to where you need to be as far as all that goes. It's a lot easier to start recounting your dreams with your system detoxed. I'm kind of reading your chat, so I'm like way behind. I'm sorry, folks.
A few people said they had dreams. That Terrell said I was dreaming that I was flying in the sky from the snow. And Jan said she's dreaming of cats.
Of cats?
Yeah, cats. Very powerful, she said, and strange. That Jan? Yes. It's funny, powerful, and strange, she said. I'm not sure if Edwin said he was dreaming of something.
Yeah, so we want to hear about your dreams and visions too, and we'd love it if you would come back and leave us some comments on that too.
And Jim said that your sky turned fairy.
Yeah, it is really getting strange. Here, let's have a look at it.
Let's look at that sky.
Let me bring this up. Here we go. Okay.
I don't know if it's a dragon system or some kind of system.
Yeah, it is a crazy sky today. Okay, so it started out half blue. And you can see some of the blue over there. But there's lots of those little puffy, popcorny looking clouds everywhere. And this is directly overhead. So we're looking off this way, we're looking off towards the west. And then this is north. South is that direction. And then back over there is east. So yeah, it's doing really weird stuff over there.
That's crazy.
It looks like there's cracks in the sky. Do you see that?
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. It looks like it's cracked.
Yeah, it's shattered.
Yeah, this is shattered sky. I don't know what that's called. Very interesting.
It is. It's really interesting. I can see the sun trying to come back out. But there's a big haze behind it, too. And see, it's getting them weird shadows. Wow. It looks like it's going to drop down into that crack. It's disappearing. So we've
Thank
only
you
been
for coming
streaming for
again.
like a half an hour, guys.
Yeah, I'll show you guys my sky in just a little bit. It's getting hot here, but it got really blue today. We're still under a breathing alert or whatever here in Washington. So I'm not even supposed to be outside, but I'll be fine. If you hear me start hacking and coughing, then you know why. That and I smoke cigarettes. But yeah, it's just like kind of hazy here, and it's mostly blue. Great. He's gonna weed whack now or something. Lovely.
Well, I can read this one too. This is 10 Dreams That Changed Human History. So here are 10 remarkable dreams of scientists, writers, musicians, mathematicians, and inventors who subsequently changed the course of human history. Dreams have been responsible for some major creative and scientific discoveries in the course of human history. No longer dismissed by psychologists as random neuron firings or meaningless fantasies, dreams are now considered an ongoing thought process that just happens to occur while we are asleep. Here are 10 remarkable dreams of some of the world's most prominent scientists, writers, um, sorry, prominent scientists, writers, musicians, mathematicians, and inventors whose moments of dream insight went down on record. Number one, Mary Shelley, the world's first sci-fi novel. In 1816, the story of Frankenstein, often cited as the world's first science fiction novel, was inspired by a vivid nightmare. At just 18 years old, Shelley visited Lord Byron by Lake Geneva in Switzerland. They were locked in a cold volcanic winter caused by the eruption of Mount Tambora the year prior. Wow, that's interesting. Creating Europe's year without summer. Stuck indoors and huddled around a log fire, Byron suggested that each write a ghost story, but night after night, Shelley was unable to think of anything suitable. Then one evening, when discussing turned to nature, when discussions turned to nature of life, Shelley suggested perhaps a corpse could be reanimated, backed by the thought that galvanism had given token of such things. Later that night, after turning in, her imagination took hold, and she experienced what she described as a vivid waking dream. I saw the pale student of unhallowed arts kneeling beside the thing he had put together. I saw the hideous phantasm of a man stretched out and then on the working of some powerful engine, showing signs of life and stir with an uneasy half-vital motion. Frightful must it be, for supremely frightful would be the effect of any human endeavor to mock the stupendous mechanism of the creator of the world. Number two, Paul McCartney, music that inspires music. In 1965, Paul McCartney composed the entire melody for the hit acoustic song Yesterday in a Dream. It came back to him fully formed when he woke up, and he quickly replicated the song on his piano, asking his friends and family if they'd ever heard it before. He was initially worried that he had simply replicated someone else's work, known as cryptomnesia. For about a month, I went round to people in the music business and asked them whether they had ever heard it before. Eventually, it became like handing something in to the police. I thought if no one claimed it after a few weeks, then I could have it. Lennon and McCartney then wrote lyrics to the melody, and the song was credited to Lennon and McCartney on their album Help. However, being a melancholy acoustic song, which involved a solo performance by McCartney himself and none of the other Beatles, the band members vetoed the release as a UK single that year. It was released in America, though, and Yesterday stayed at number one on the Billboard Hot 100 charts for 4 weeks. It remains massively popular today, with more than 2,200 cover versions by other artists, including Aretha Franklin, rest in peace, Katy Perry, the Mamas and the Papas, Michael Bolton, Bob Dylan, Ray Charles, Elvis Presley, Billy Dean, and others. Number three, the Neil Bohr, sorry, the Neil Bohr, Neil Bohr's The Structure of the Atom. The father of quantum mechanics, Niels Bohr, often spoke of the inspirational dream that led to his discovery of the structure of the atom. The son of academic parents, Bohr got his doctorate in 1911 and gained notoriety for deciphering complex problems in the world of physics, and had left his colleagues stumped. In time, he set upon understanding the structure of the atom, but none of the configurations would fit. One night he went to sleep and began dreaming about atoms. He saw the nucleus of the atoms, with electrons spinning around it, much as planets spin around the sun. Immediately on awakening, Bohr felt the vision was accurate, but as a scientist, he knew the importance of validating his idea before announcing it to the world. He returned to his lab and searched for evidence to support his theory. It held true, and Bohr's vision of atomic structure turned out to be one of the greatest breakthroughs of his day. Bohr was later awarded a Nobel Prize for physics, and as a result of this leap in creative thinking while asleep. Number 4, Elias Howe, The Eye of the Needle. In 1845, Howe invented the sewing machine based on the famous dream that helped him understand the mechanical penetration of the needle. He was not the first to conceive the idea of a sewing machine. However, Howe made a significant refinement for the design and was awarded the first U.S. patent for a sewing machine using a lock-stitch design according to family history records. He almost beggared himself before he discovered where the eye of the needle of the sewing machine should be located. He might have failed altogether if he had not dreamed he was building a sewing machine for a savage king in a strange country. Just as in his actual working experience, he was perplexed about the needle's eye. He thought the king gave him 24 hours in which to complete the machine and make it sew. If not finished in that time, death was to be the punishment. He worked and puzzled and finally gave it up. Then he thought he was taken out to be executed. He noticed that the warriors carried spears that were pierced near the head. Instantly came the solution of the difficulty, and while the inventor was begging for time, he awoke. It was 4 o'clock in the morning. He jumped out of bed, ran to his workshop, and by 9, a needle with an eye at the point had been rudely modeled. After that, it was easy. That is the true story of an important incident in the invention of the sewing machine. Number 5, Albert Einstein, The Speed of Light. Einstein is famous for his genius insights into the nature of the universe, but what about his dreams? As it happens, he came to an extraordinary scientific achievement, discovering the principle of relativity after having a vivid dream. As a young man, Einstein dreamed he was sledding down a steep mountainside, going so fast that eventually he approached the speed of light. At this moment, the stars in his dream changed their appearance in relation to him. He awoke and meditated on this idea, soon formulating what would become one of the most famous scientific theories in the history of mankind. Einstein's Dreams by Alan Lightman is now a modern classic, a fictional collage of stories dreamed by Albert Einstein in 1905, on the brink of his breakthrough discoveries. In one, time is circular so that people are fated to repeat their triumphs and failures over and over. In another, time stands still, where lovers cling together in eternity. In another yet, time is a nightingale, trapped by a bell jar. Number 6, Srinivasa Ramanujan, The Man Who Knew Infinity. The mathematical genius made substantial contributions to analytical theories of numbers, elliptical functions, continued fractions, and an infinite series, and proved that more than 3,000 mathematical theorems in his lifetime. Ramanujan stated that the insight for his work came to him in his dreams on many occasions. Ramanujan said that throughout his life he repeatedly dreamed of a Hindu goddess known as Namakal. She presented him with complex mathematical formulas over and over, which he could then test and verify upon waking. One such example was the infinite series for pi. Describing one of his many insightful math dreams, Ramanujan said, While asleep, I had an unusual experience. There was a red screen formed by flowing blood. As it were, I was observing it. Suddenly, a hand began to write on the screen. I became all attention. That hand wrote a number of results in elliptical integrals. They stuck in my mind. As soon as I woke up, I committed them to writing. There is a fascinating story behind the prolific dreamer. Learn more about that life of Ramanujan, a self-taught math prodigy from India, and how he formed his brilliant theories. From the temples and slums of Madras to the courts and chapels of Cambridge University, it's an unlikely story that saw Ramanujan rise from the underprivileged obscurity to one of the greatest geniuses of the 20th century. Number 7. Robert Louis Stevenson, A Fine Bogey Tale. In 1886, Stevenson dreamed up 3 key sequences from the infamous fantasy thriller The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. A sick man for most of his life, he wrote mainly to support his family, until it came to the inception of Jekyll and Hyde, Stevenson said. For 2 days, I went about racking my brains for a plot of any sort, and on the second night I dreamed the scene at the window, and a scene after split in 2, in which Hyde, pursued for some crime, took the powder and underwent the change in the presence of his pursuers. While recovering in bed from a hemorrhage, Fanny Stevenson heard his screams resulting from an opium-induced nightmare. He promptly awoke and complained, "Why did you wake me? I was dreaming a fine bogey tale." Fanny later discovered she had woken him at first transformation scene. The next morning, Stevenson began scribbling furiously, and 3 days later he had written 30,000-word draft. But when Fanny noted it was an allegory contrary to his original intent, he threw it on the fire and started over. For a further 3 days, his family tiptoed around him while he sat in bed, writing, surrounded by torn-up pages, until at last the final draft was ready. In all, he wrote 64,000 words in 6 days, some kind of miracle in his time, without typewriters or computer power to speak of. His stepson, Lloyd Osborne, wrote of the amazing feat, "I don't believe that there was ever such a literary feat before as the writing of Dr. Jekyll. I remember the first disease of the world, though it were yesterday." Lewis came downstairs in a fever, read nearly half the book aloud, and then, while we were still gasping, he was away again, and busy writing. I doubt if the first draft took so long as 3 days. The success of his book was phenomenal. To this day, the phrase Jekyll and Hyde is part of our language, an idiom referencing someone who has dual personalities and swings between good and evil behavior. The story has also inspired modern-day spin-offs such as Bradley Cooper in Limitless, in which a would-be writer is transformed into a perfect version of himself. Number 8. Otto Loewy, Nerve Impulse Breakthrough. Otto Loewy was a German-born pharmacologist who discovered acetylcholine, ironically a neurotransmitter which promotes dreaming, helped advance medical therapy. This discovery earned him a Nobel Prize 13 years later. However, he is almost as famous for the means by which he discovered it as he is for the discovery itself. In 1921, Loewy dreamed of an experiment that would prove once and for all that transmission of nerve impulses was chemical, not electrical. He woke up, scribbled the experiment down, and went back to sleep. The next morning, he arose excited to try his experiment, but was horrified to find he couldn't read his midnight ramblings. That day, he said, was the longest day of his life, as he tried but failed to recall his dream. The following night, however, he had the same dream repeat itself, and upon awakening went directly to his lab to prove the Nobel Prize-winning theory of chemical transmission of the nervous impulse. Number 9. August Kekulé, the Ouroboros benzene dream. A prominent German organic chemist, August Kekulé, insightfully dreamed of the structure of the benzene molecule, which, unlike other known organic compounds had a circular structure rather than a linear one. This new understanding of all aromatic compounds proved to be so important for both pure and applied chemistry after 1865 that the German Chemical Society organized an elaborate appreciation in Kekulé's honor, where he described the dream that inspired the breakthrough. He said he discovered the ring shape of the benzene molecule after having a reverie of a snake seizing its own tail. a common ancient symbol known as the Ouroboros. I was sitting writing at my textbook, but the work did not progress. My thoughts were elsewhere. I turned my chair to the fire and I dozed. Again, the atoms were gamboling before my eyes. This time, the smaller group kept modestly in the background. My mental eye, rendered more acute by the repeated visions of this kind, could now distinguish larger structures of the manifold conformation. Long rows, sometimes more closely fitted together, all twining and twisting in snake-like motion. But look, what was that? One of the snakes had seized hold of its own tail, and the form whirled mockingly before my eyes. As if by a flash of lightning I woke, and the time and this time also I spent the rest of the night in working out the rest of the hypothesis. And last but not least, number 10, Frederick Banting advances in medicine. After his mother passed away from diabetes, Frederick Banting was motivated to find a cure. Eventually, he found the next best thing, a treatment using insulin injections, which, though not a true cure, could at least significantly extend the lifespan of sufferers. This discovery won him a Nobel Prize in medicine at just 32 years old. Although he lacked knowledge of diabetes and clinical research, his unique knowledge of surgery combined with his assistant Charles Best's knowledge of diabetes made the ideal research team. While seeking to isolate the exact cause of diabetes, Banting had a dream telling him to surgically ligate or tie up the pancreas of a diabetic dog in order to stop the flow of nourishment. He did and discovered a disproportionate balance between sugar and insulin. The breakthrough led to another dream that revealed how to develop insulin as a drug to treat the condition. Banting was named Canada's first professor of medical research, and by 1923, he was the most famous man in the country. He received letters and gifts from hundreds of grateful diabetics all over the world, and since then, insulin has saved or transformed the lives of millions of people. So those are 10 wonderful visionary dreams.
Awesome.
All right, I'm going back to the chat. Sorry.
What are you doing?
Very fascinating stuff. So I'm just looking back at the chat. I see Anna Nicole says we're getting storms this evening. Not looking forward to those. Jan says there's thunderstorms and winds there, 40 miles per hour. I like the Beatles too. Deity. And then Terrell says it was storm a little bit here yesterday. Blue Water
I had
says
thunder early.
autonomic writing and aromatic hydrocarbons. Awesome. Those are big words. Some of them were hard to pronounce.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, my sky looks completely ethereal.
It is. Has it still got
I am
cracks
getting...
in it?
Yeah, the cracks fell apart while I was reading, I guess. Did Jim leave? I mean, this is a really neat sky.
He's probably watching your sky.
Jim, are you seeing this?
You see
Jim,
this,
did you saw
Look
this,
at
Jim?
that. Did you saw
Jim,
it?
did you saw this? I know, I'm digging the stories too. So yeah, sometimes we have these bigger dreams. Like there's 3 different kinds of dreams. There's little dreams. The little dreams, they don't really matter much. This is like the dream that I had earlier today about my neighbor cooking beef in the kitchen. It's really just a silly dream. It doesn't mean much. It maybe was just a little bit of me stressing about getting dinner cooked and worrying over dinner before this stream happened. So, not much on that, just a little dream. The next kind of dream that you have is a bigger dream. That kind of dream, sometimes you find little tidbits of the future in the dream, like little bits of knowledge about something that's about to happen. And then there's really big dreams or official dreams, and those dreams are visions. Those are the true visions. Sometimes we only have one of those dreams a lifetime. Some people have more, but you may have more and you just don't realize it because you're not in tune with your dreams. We dream about 16 dreams a night, but usually only remember one or two if we're lucky. So it would be good for all of us to start working on our dream recall. So, and that's one of the things that we did here was we made a dream prompter, which this is a dream prompter right here, my dears. So with the dream prompter, these will go, you lay them by the side of your bed, and they help promote your dream recall. So there is something to represent each element in a dream prompter, and I feel like they should be handmade. I don't know anywhere where you could buy one, honestly. I handmade this one myself. So the incense here will represent the air, and that is in the north. And below it, we have water to represent the south. And then in the west, we have earth. This is a subterranean heart, which is a fossil rock. Very beautiful. It's a mud fossil. So that is my representation of earth. And then, of course, in the east, we have fire. Oh, I cracked that, didn't I? A little crack in it. Oops. So yeah, if you want to make one of these, you can find, you can watch us make them in Dreams and Visions and make one of your own. I just used a piece of an old white sheet that I tore up, antique white sheet. But if you have a piece of white leather, that would work really good too. So you make one of these and then meditate with it, and then it goes by the side of your bed and helps to promote your dream recall ability. So we'd love to see you guys make something like that too. Wow, that sky is intense for sure. You got a great idea for a song? Awesome, Deity. Love that. Good to be an inspiration. So cool. I was kind of hoping Father would come out and talk about some of his dreams too. He had a really interesting dream the other day that he was telling me about, where he saw houses disappearing and then reappearing in our neighborhood. Like, like you're looking at a house down that way, and then it would just suddenly poof out and then poof back in.
Nice.
We're working on switching our bed direction because we were sleeping to the north, but I've started sleeping at the foot of the bed now so that my head is to the south, but I want to be in the east. So we're going to be moving our room around so that we can get east direction, sleeping east and west. And if you're not recalling your dreams, that could be another problem too. It could be location. Wow, look at the sun turned into a keyhole. See that?
Oh, wow.
It looks like a skeleton keyhole.
That's cool. My sky is so black compared to yours. It's not so good.
Huh?
I said, my sky is so blah. It's
Is it
like
all
blue, but
smoky?
it's not.
I want to see your
It is,
sky.
but it's not that. I'll show you.
Oh, your camera's not on, is it?
I see me. Do you guys see me?
I only see your face and little circles coming out of your face.
You see it now?
No.
Oh, Lordy.
I don't know why.
Okay. Let's see. Camera. Camera on. Now you see me?
No, just your face. I don't know how long it's been stuck like that.
I don't know either. Off.
Oh, there you go. Now you got it.
So it's mostly blue up top. And then
Yeah, it looks like it's trying to be a blue sky.
back in there, it's all smoky. It looks way better than yesterday, so I'm happy with it. But they still said our breathing could be problematic outside. I don't seem to be having any problems. It does smell like chlorine a bit, and I don't know if that's like the pool or what's going on. Or the water. Or if they're doing something
Yeah,
with the water.
you know what else I read, Blue, was that the only people that sleep to the north are dead. Apparently, when they lay you to rest, that they face you north. So we don't want to be in the north at all. Hi, Bits of Real Panther. How are you?
Hi, Bits of Real Panther. Welcome.
You're coming in kind of late, friend. We pretty much covered everything I think we were going to cover today. We're just staring at the sky now.
You can always rewatch, though, and leave us a comment. And we'll be doing them every 21st of the month, so.
Yep. Yeah, the 21st is great because it falls on the cusp, so I really like that date. Well, my sun is like gone behind that thickness.
Good to hear that you're doing well.
What'd you say?
I said good to hear that he's doing well. Bits of Panther.
Oh, Bits of Real Panther, yes.
I like panthers. I seen a panther once in Missouri.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Bits of Real Panther. Yeah, our notifications are kind of a pain. They really are. You got to just check on us. But it's good to know, like Pam said, we're going to do it on the 21st, so just mark it on your calendar, and you can look for us to go live on the 21st of each month. So, and then we haven't even picked our topic for next time, but we'll probably pick another topic to discuss with you guys and then work with that. But we sure would like to see you guys start completing the challenges and getting your dream journals and finding out your spirit guide animals. How many of you found your spirit guide animal from last time? Thank you, Jan. Reflecting love and light right back to you, dear.
Same.
Did anybody find their spirit animal?
Or already know their spirit animal?
Jan, you have a blessed night, too. Thank you for coming, darling. Very much appreciate you.
Thank you, Bits of Real Panther.
Thank you so much, Bits of a Real Panther. You've cats more kind. What happened, Jan?
What? Oh.
You feel like yours is a wolf? Okay, well, you had to go discover it. So, okay, we talked about this in our last Dreamcast. So, if you want to hear about our animals, you need to go back and watch that. But I will tell you, it's pretty easy. What you need to do is you need to meditate. May I recommend the 10-minute fire element candlelight meditation? So, have a look at that and sit down and work on your breathing and your posture. And then, going in with your breath through your nose and out with your breath through your mouth. So expanding and dissolving. And then you'll close your eyes and you'll find a path. You need to look for the path. When you see the path, it could be any path that you choose. It could be different than my path, which looked a lot like the path that went to Fairyland. And our son's path, he said, took him right into the stars. So it could be anywhere on Earth and it could be off the Earth. You never know where your path is going to lead you. But you'll start down the path. And as you start down the path, you're going to ask if your spirit guide animal would just show itself to you, that you want it to make itself known. And so then you may see lots of animals. And if you think that it's going to be a wolf, it's possible that a wolf will come onto your path and you may see that wolf. But that doesn't necessarily mean that the wolf is your spirit guide animal. I actually thought that mine was going to be a number of different animals and then finally decided that mine was all of the animals. But none of them were my animals and they all ran off the path. Well, eventually I got to a point in the path where I was starting to get frustrated because I'd seen so many animals and wanted to know, wow, look at that sun. It's crazy. So I finally asked again if my spirit guide animal would show itself. And it did. It came right out of the path, came right up to my hand and licked my hand. So I knew for sure that that was my spirit guide animal. It was not what I expected it to be. So don't try to let your mind make the spirit animal be. Let the spirit animal come to you. Even though you may resonate with the wolf, your spirit guide may not be a wolf. It may be a different
I
animal.
thought mine was the coyote, and it wasn't. Because I do dream about coyotes a lot. But it was not the coyote.
Right.
As much as I thought it might be, and it would be easy for it to be, it was not. It's a bit tough to get it.
Here comes the sun again.
Oh, here comes the sun. There's the beetles.
You're very welcome, Anna Nicole Channel. Thank you so much. So yes, we want to hear more about your spirit and guide animals. So we want you to go find your spirit guide animals, and we want you to make a video and talk about your spirit guide animal, and also make a video talk about your journal, or you can make a video showcasing both items, and then let us know when you have that video ready, and we will be glad to give you the link to the collaborative playlist so that you can add it to our playlist. One thing that we found is that when you're learning to recall your dreams, it is a wonderful thing to gather together in a group. And it helps us to remember our dreams better when we have a group that is like-minded and thinking on the same level. That's why we give you all a big thank you for joining us.
And to keep a journal, too. To keep your own journal. So if you don't want to share dreams, you can just keep a journal for yourself because it helps you remember them.
Right. And if you have
If
any
it's crazy,
really,
I wanna
really
share.
great dreams that you feel like are big dreams, official dreams, or even just little dreams and little big dreams, you're more than welcome to share those with us too and showcase them in a video. And again, we'll add them to the playlist. We'd love to add it. We want to see more of your dreams and more of your thoughts in there. Right now, it's just me and Tam thinking and dreaming, but we want you all to dream with us.
Yeah.
Good night, deity. You have a wonderful evening. So we got 7 in here now, I guess, and everybody's getting ready to wrap up, and I'm getting hungry, really, really starving too.
Yeah.
But the sky is incredible. I hate to leave it.
That guy is crazy. You might end this and make another one.
Yeah, I guess I could do that. I could do a time lapse of it, maybe.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Well, I'm
Try
going to
Sunday.
time lapse this too, I thought, but I don't know. We're running out of time for time lapsing on YouTube. That's another thing that expires tomorrow. Oh, there goes a dragonfly. Hello, dragonfly.
Dragonfly.
So beautiful. Hello, friend. Really cool.
Awesome.
You're very welcome, folks. We very much appreciate you all for coming out tonight. So I guess we'll get off here and let you go, and then I'll just film the sky and I'll show it to you later when I get it edited. Sound
Okay.
good?
Sounds good to me.
All right. Thanks again, everyone. You all have wonderful dreams, and we look forward to hearing about your big dreams, little dreams, and official dreams.
Thank you all for coming.
And we'll see you all for the next Dreamcast on the 21st.
All right. Bye, everyone.
All right, I'm going to go shut it down inside. Thank you, Tam. Love you. Bye,
Love you
everybody.
too.
Sweet dreams.
Bye, Perry. Sweet dreams.